Ron Newman, a championship. Charlie fakes around a man, shoots, he scores! Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Sockers and the Major Arena Soccer League, coming to you live on Twitch. Craig Elston, Jerry Jimenez back with you. It's our 10th episode of our 5th season of this here little media project. We are live on our Twitch channel at San Diego Sockers. We are available on replay on our YouTube channel at San Diego Sockers. We are available as a podcast in Apple's Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, iHeart, or wherever you may be checking out this particular show. My name's Craig Elston. Jerry Jimenez joins me on the other side. What's happening, brother?
What's up, man? It's so good to be back here. Man, what an exciting weekend it was, not just for the Sockers, but MSO in general, and I'm excited to talk about it with you. It's good to be back. I see everybody in the chat coming in. As always, just a friendly reminder, send us your questions. We love it when you interact with us, and that's what this show is about. And for those of you that are listening in audio later on, join us here on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Again, another reminder, but no, man, it's good to be back, Craig. How are you doing, man? How's everything? How was your weekend after this Sunday? Did you get a little bit of rest yesterday?
Yeah, actually, big credit to the big Hefe. Sean Bowers gave us a work from home day on MLK Day. Very much appreciated. So checked into the office this morning, but yesterday did have that chance to regroup after a big win over the Sockers. And over here on this side of the Twitch channel, we are honoring goalkeeping past and future. I am wearing the Goalkeepers Kit 2023 edition that's available for sale at our merchandise stand and in our online shop, and soon to be worn by the players out on the field. Also honoring the greatness of goalkeeping past with Zoltan Toth over my right shoulder, and over my left shoulder, of course, Tony Sanchez.
Yes. Why do you do this, man? Poor Chiva. He's not heard enough of that. Just keep giving him, keep giving Tony ammunition to use, and keep growing his already big head about it. But yeah, I agree. I mean, good job, Tony. You earned it, I guess.
On tonight's show, the Sockers keep it rolling with a rugged win against Kansas City. We'll break down the big difference maker in that match. Our special guest joining us at the bottom of the hour is Mitchell Cardenas, one of the top defenders in the entire MASL. We'll get his take on staying cool under pressure. Is there a new contender emerging in the ultra-competitive West? We're going to talk about red-hot Tacoma and the rest of the big games from the weekend. We've got some very interesting Sockers news and upcoming events to discuss, and then it'll be time to head east for back-to-back matches in Pennsylvania, taking on Harrisburg. We'll talk about Saturday's watch party and more. We join you again live on Twitch. Our theme song, Beyond the South Bay, by the great Bobby Cressy. Check out his album, Cali Native, available on iTunes or wherever you buy your albums. And Jerry, 6-0. We already got a question from Soccer's Dynasty asking, what's the streak? There's so many streaks right now. Let's update all the streaks. The Sockers have won 6 straight this season. They are 6-0. Their current all competitions win streak is 10, dating back to the 4 wins in the semifinals and finals of last year's Ron Newman Cup playoffs, and then these 6 wins. The Sockers have won 14 straight matches at home. That's a regular season win streak. That would go up to 17 if you went all competition home winning streak, adding their 3 playoff home. 18, adding their 4 home playoff wins last year, but you can count that at 14 for regular season. Overall regular season winning streak is now at 26. Oof. I got to go check my own work on that. I think it's at 26 now.
Yeah, I think you might have said 25 last week, so I should make it 26.
Yeah, it's 26. It is 26 in a row, regular season, and in our all competition points streak, 47. 47 straight matches that the Sockers have at least taken to overtime, with an overall record of 43-0-4 in those 47 straight matches.
Oh, man.
Did that catch everybody up?
Did everybody get that? Did you write it down? There's going to be a test at the end of this. I'm just kidding.
It's absolutely
Ooh, this
crazy,
is a great question, though, because I have the same exact question. So, Craig, do all these streaks actually count towards the record of the 48?
Toward the record that is 48. 48 was an all competitions record. So we'd be at 10 on that streak right now. Yeah, because any loss counts to break that streak, whether it's in overtime or not. And we did lose to Chihuahua in Game 1 of the Ron Newman Cup semifinals. Before that, I believe it was 22, where the all-competition win streak was, because they won 20 straight to end last regular season and 2 straight to start the playoffs last year. So, yeah, long way to go. That's why that all-competition win streak is so incredible. 48 straight matches through playoffs, regular season, U.S. Open Cup. That was as good as it gets, 2010 to 13, and almost as good as it gets right now.
Did you say 10 or 11?
10.
10? Okay, so we only have 39 more to go. Let's go.
That's right.
We can do it.
That's right.
I believe in you, Sockers.
Hey, shout out to everybody here in the chat already. I see Suzanne's here. I see Joe Hutt's here. Soccer's Dynasty. 2 balls and a mic. Hopefully they tuned in just after.
Just after.
Just after I said the stuff I said.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
When you tune in just a minute late, it's a minute too late. You know.
They would have responded something if they heard what you said at the beginning. So now they're going to have to rewatch this. This is what happens.
That's exactly what I was trolling for, was that second go-through.
Yes.
Looking for that second download. Outstanding. All right. As mentioned, we've got coming up in just about 20 minutes here, Mitchell Cardenas joining us live. And so as such, perfect time to dive into our game recap from Sunday night. Soccer's taking out the Kansas City Comets 7-3. And you know, first things first, Jerry, got to talk about what happened outside, because Animal Friends Night, even on a very rainy, soggy Sunday, was a huge hit. We had a lot of folks out there. We had a lot of doggos out there. And in the end, we had 3 adoptions from our pet adoption event outside. 3 dogs getting new forever homes, including one from Frosted Faces. I saw a little Pomeranian that had the wheels on the back for the bad hips. Just incredible.
Yeah, it's always a good time when you win a game, but it's even more when you're making some good contributions to the community, and that's exciting. That's awesome to hear that 3 pets got their forever homes, and hopefully many more to come from these types of events too. So make sure that if you guys are considering getting a pet for your home, if you're listening to this, definitely consider going and seeing some of our partners there with many of the shelters here in San Diego, and consider having adoption of one of these pets because, man, those dogs that were there, they were just beautiful, and I'm glad that my wife wasn't there because I'm pretty sure she would have left with one and made it 4, and we just don't have room. But if you do, definitely consider it because what a great way to get a forever pet home, a family member. You and I both know, Craig. I mean, pets are the coolest things, and having a dog is super awesome, or a cat, or any other type of pet as well. Max is mine. I have a beagle, and he's awesome. And your dog is awesome too. I became his friend the other day too. Every time I come over, he just wants to hang out with me. It's awesome.
And he only wants to hang out with you as well. We see now in the highlights we're running the first goal of the match. It was scoreless in the first, and then Cesar Cerda coming through. And what I wrote on the menu, Jerry, look at the off-ball movement here. This give and go. This is classic indoor play. It's a classic NFL wide receiver route, but when you see goals in this league, more often than not, you're going to see movement off the ball. That's a team goal. Movement off the ball, overlapping runs, give and goes, 1-2s. When you go one-on-one, you can score sometimes. And the second goal will show Brandon Escoto scores one-on-one. It can happen. But the team ball, the team game is where it's at. Here we see 2-0. And listen, we've got individual artistry, but it started with Escoto trying to feed a pass.
Yeah.
And then when it was blocked, coming back for an off-foot goal. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Brandon had a huge night.
Yeah, Brandon had a fantastic night. He was trying to get that ball over to Felipe Gonzalez, I believe, who was open. But the defense from Kansas City, it started out pretty good, but I think you mentioned it as well as we were talking about this. I mean, both goalkeepers, Neto was brilliant there in the beginning of the game, and obviously so was Boris Pardo. But it started off really slowly offensively. It took that one player to make a difference, and Cesar said that with the first one, and then again second one for Brandon Escoto. But what a great night for Escoto, just huge night.
Yeah, he was terrific, and maybe the most exciting thing was the shot he didn't score on, which was his bicycle kick attempt toward the end of the second quarter. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Brandon was on one, to be sure, on Sunday, on a very good one. Escoto, great, but 2-0 late in the second quarter. This game really took on the tenor that we were expecting. Kansas City leads the league in penalty minutes. They average over 9 penalty minutes per match. We know there were 22 cards the last time these two teams met one another. And you started to see in that second quarter the physicality ramp up, the fouls heat up, the heavy fouls. And right here in the final minute of the second quarter, a collision between Benji Monreal and Pee-wee Ortega, but one that Monreal initiated with his shoulder. And so both guys went down. Both guys had a little bit of head-to-head contact, but Monreal is the player who winds up, as we see that bicycle, winds up with the blue card. And then immediately to start the third quarter, Kansas City got a second blue card for a Leo Gibson handball in the box to block a goal. And San Diego scored on both of those, Jerry. Of course, the penalty kick, which we'll see momentarily, Craig Childs-Potts, and then Morgan to Escoto for the second goal. And I really came into this match thinking the key to winning against Kansas City, you're going to have to convert at least one, but hopefully 2 power plays. If you can convert around half of your power plays, then you can't, and this is just an axiom for indoor soccer. If a team can convert half of their power plays on the regular, you can't go into the match and say, we're going to out-physical this team. We're going to intimidate this team physically. We're going to take it to them, and we're going to break them down physically. Because if you score half your power plays and you're giving up 4 blue cards in a match, well, that's 2 goals right there. That's a 2-0 disadvantage. You can't beat a team like the Sockers with that type of advantage. So the Sockers had been really bad on the power play to start the year. They started off 3 for their first 11, and getting those 2 goals to me was everything in terms of winning this match.
Absolutely, and we all knew, everybody here on this chat and everybody who knows these two teams historically when it comes to the Sockers and Kansas City, there's going to be cards. I mean, there was 20 in the last time that we faced each other. I'm not sure exactly how many there was on this one. Maybe you have the stat on that. But, we knew that was going to happen. We knew that there was going to be some power plays going both ways. And, yeah, I mean, the fact that they were able to convert on those power plays was huge and absolutely the reason why I think we were able to beat Kansas City the way that we did. Now, I was confused for a bit. I'm thinking, okay, this is maybe not going to be the type of game that I thought going into it, because the first and second half was, again, not terribly chippy, but it changed. I mean, right at the end of the second, going right into the third quarter, you could tell, okay, this is more like it. This is what I was expecting. And as you mentioned, I mean, we get that penalty that Craig Childs converted, but it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And there we see clearly well after the whistle.
Oof. Yeah, and I mean, honest to goodness, a nut shot. That we can say it on Twitch. That was after the whistle. Lucas Souza, you see the replay again, just turns. The whistle had already sounded, and just nails him in the nether region.
I could tell that
and really
you and
that
Nate,
did.
I can tell that you and Nate felt it up there in Rose Seth. You both were like, "Oh, ouch."
Yeah, that was nasty, and things really did from that point move up. And the answer to the question you had was 11. There were 11 cards.
11 cards. Okay, not as
in
bad.
This match. So
Not terrible.
half. It was half as bad.
We'll take it
this time around.
I think they knew
nobody
they had
fouled
to
out,
behave.
although one guy got 5. Yeah,
They had to behave. They knew it. I mean, they knew they had to behave a little different. Even Neto, and I got to talk a little bit with him, and he was super nice. Not the Neto that I'm used to seeing in other games. I mean, I think they came into it knowing, okay, we need to be a little bit more careful, especially with all the eyes on them really right now. And so, yeah, but it still that didn't keep them from causing penalties, and there was one against Boris, and it just kept going, I think.
Well, and by the way, Shane Butler was the official again on Sunday. I thought he reffed a great match. I thought he was just basically 100% on the match. I don't think he missed a call. I think it was an extremely fairly done match, and I think Shane is really deserving his reputation as one of the best refs in this league. I think he's really shown it the second half of last season, in the playoffs, and at the start of this season as well. And I did love how he played along with the seventh man guys and Paul Badger with his eye chart out there, and gave it a good look. I loved that. I saw you posted that on your Twitter and your Instagram.
I had to. I love it. I love the, and that's friendly banter right there. That's how you do it. I think that the seventh man, that group there's a reason why Casey goes as far away as possible from them when they're, doing their circle and getting together. They just head over to the nearest goal because they know that they're going to get bombarded with vuvuzelas. And but I love that so much. And yeah, I agree with Toy Runner and what you're saying too, Craig. Shane Butler did a great job. He's also very animated. I love when he does the whole karate chop thing and he lifts his leg up to do the, that was a foul because
he's into
chopped
it, man.
him.
Yep. He's into it. And yeah, here's where we started to get into all the leg whips. There was one leg whip, and then Leo got called for a leg whip, and then Cardenas got called for a leg whip. It was like 3 in a row at the end. The Sockers penalty kill, special teams overall, really, really solid in this match because at the end they killed off multiple penalties, including Kansas City pulling their keeper for a full 2-minute 6-on-4 that not only did Kansas City not score, but San Diego got a goal on a Tavoy Morgan shorthanded goal, first shorthanded goal of the season for the Sockers.
There it is.
There's the there's the Butler tripping call right there, and a chippity chop to the leg, choppity chop. Incredible stuff. And I thought, while listen, 7-3, right? Very solid, workmanlike win for the Sockers, not an explosive offensive affair, and you don't expect that with Neto in the other net, but everything really solid. Team had the game on lock. Team was never really in doubt. lead started at 1-0 and got to 4-0. But with all that said, I thought the fact that the Sockers scored 7 goals, no big deal. Who scored those goals late in the match, I think is kind of a big deal, because 3 players who had all gotten off to scuffling starts this season found the net. And I think for Juan Manuel Rojo, probably the most important. Rojo was a 24-point scorer last year in the back end. He had been shut out for the year except for 1 assist. And Rojo coming back and finally getting that first goal. He's had probably a half dozen or more chances already this season. And to finally get that goal, huge for his confidence. Charlie Gonzalez, you don't worry about Charlie Gonzalez's confidence per se, but nonetheless, it had been a couple games. It had been a minute. He's not at that 2 points a game level that he wants to be. So to see Charlie get a real sick goal, a nasty move, left-footed goal. And then, of course, at the end, Tavoy Morgan had like 4 dances for his 1 goal at the end of the match. But I get it. He had a lot to let out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're right when it comes to Rojo's being the most important. He's had so many good looks this season so far, and the ball would not go in. And same thing for Charlie, actually, specifically on this game. I think Charlie Gonzalez had a few good looks that just did not go in until that last one. And for Rojo, I think it's one of those things that's going to open up the floodgates for him, because as we saw last season, I mean, he's destined to score more, right? He just needed to get that first one under the belt. Morgan already has a few goals, not at home, obviously, this one being his first one. He had that assist as well. And it's funny because we interviewed him afterward, and his reaction was, "Well, you want to talk to me? I had one goal only, and and then you said, and 1 assist." He's like, okay. He is somebody that also I think needed that. And I mean, these guys love scoring, and they, as much as they say, yes, at the end of the day, winning matters the most. But both Rojo and Morgan, I think this is going to help them out. It's going to open up those floodgates. At least that's the way that I see it. And I guess we'll find out as we go along on this season.
Boris Prado, spectacular once again. Point blank saves, 13 saves, absolutely dynamite. Number 1 goalkeeper in the year. Of the year so far, defending goalkeeper of the year. I just think there's no question he's at the top of the totem pole. The defense was really good. As you mentioned, we finally get a Tavoy goal. I mean, finally. And unselfishness is always the hallmark of this team. Tavoy had a good chance on the power play, and he passed off to Brandon for a goal. And right there, Felipe had a fine look at net, and he passed back to Tavoy to not only get a sure thing, but to light up Morgan a little bit. To be very frank, if I was on the bench, that third quarter penalty kick, I would have given Morgan the kick just to try and get him sparked. But then again, and I was kind of thinking about this on the drive home, like, you've got Craig Childs. Craig Childs is probably something close to 100% to convert a penalty kick.
He has to be.
Yeah. So, like, do you really give up the 100% to try and light the spark? What if Tavoy missed? Like, all it takes is to think that once on the bench, and you go, okay, never mind. Craig, shoot it. Nonetheless, I think that's the first of many home goals for Tavoy. The lid's off the basket, finally. And the last thing I wanted to say about this match is a shout out to Leonardo de Oliveira. He was a game time decision, very much so a game time decision. It wasn't until 4:30 that I got a text that he would be in the lineup. And he was dealing with a little bit of a groin pull that he took during training, at the end of training that week. And if you did rewatch the broadcast, or you watched us on Twitch in the first quarter, I said, I don't think he's long for this game, because he was ginger in his movements, and he clearly lacked that explosiveness that we know, that burst that we know from Leo, that's able to get through a double team and get past a guy when they're, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. And for Leo to play the whole match and get 3 assists, I thought was just really a sign of his toughness, of his dedication to the club, because there was a very strong argument to be made just to leave him out, essentially, on Sunday and let someone else play. And not only did he play, he played the whole match, and he was terrific. And now he's back on that assist leaderboard again.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to add about this game, because I agree with Marlisha, I see your comment here. It wasn't for a long time, but we were able to defend a 3v5 and then a 4v5 power play. And that was huge. And I think that shows a lot of improvement from these guys being able to keep it together and really step it up when they need to. I mean, our defense, again, has been really showing up this year. And I love seeing that. And I think all these things, this whole game, I think is really going to give them a lot of confidence in what they're doing. And, it's coming together. It's definitely coming together, and I think we're seeing it here against Kansas City.
Great stuff all around. Soccer's now 6-0. Soccer's now a point behind Mesquite with 2 games in hand in the Western Conference table. We'll talk about the Western Conference table when we get to MASL and Soccer's news. Looking forward to that. And last thing I'll say as we wait for Mitchell to jump in, he'll be here in a minute, our bottom of the hour guest. Not only did we have Animal Friends Night going on, and we mentioned all the great folks, not only Rancho Coastal Humane Society, but Frosted Faces, Dalmatians and Friends. There's so many folks that came through. I know one of the Labradors from the Labrador Rescue that was there got adopted. So incredible work by all of them. But also inside, Traveling Stories, our wonderful partners, were handing out children's books and handed out children's books, brand new children's books, to the first 500 kids who came to the match. And want to say thanks to Boy Scout Troop 51 in La Mesa that helped in handing out those books to kids coming into the match. I saw they had a Star Wars book they were handing out that, I mean, I think Jerry wanted one. It was sick. It was super good. So thanks to them. We love Traveling Stories, and usually a couple times a year they do that. They have a kids giveaway. Last thing, it was a terrific crowd, and I saw some people asking, what's the deal with the attendance? It seemed like it was bigger than that, and it was by folks in and by tickets out are actually bigger than opening night. Animal Friends Night. So I just want to say a big tip of the cap to Spencer Ishii, to Ezra Burdett, doing such great work, bringing in those groups, getting folks in. Thanks to Rancho Coastal helping us get on TV twice last week. We were on TV and radio twice each last week, and I think that does help us, get some folks in, and especially in the rain, it kills our walk up. There's folks who say, I was going to come, but it's raining. I don't want to drive. And they stay home. And we are the one and only team in the league, or any league, that announces turnstile count as opposed to tickets out. So that number would have been a nicely higher number. It would have been in the next bracket, so to speak, had we announced tickets out. So, big tip of the cap to everybody. And I love to see the crowds growing as the season goes on. And I'll just say keep it up, because January 29th, man.
Hey, Craig.
This match.
I'm just going to say there was about 4,000 people there. Go ahead and everybody go tell your friends.
Right. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, but it's felt like it definitely felt like there was more than 1,700. And I'm pretty sure there was, but that was great. And thank you for everybody that was there. And as you mentioned, it's the 28th.
29th.
The 29th.
The 28th is the day before. It's great.
The 28th is going to be great, but the day after, the 29th.
29th. And then the following Friday, December 3rd, Star Wars night. Star Wars night, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, but the 29th, we're going to need you there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Star Wars night is going to be a lot of fun, but we need you against Chihuahua. We need a lot of noise against those guys.
100%. And I know we're waiting for Mitchell to jump in here. Jerry,
he's here.
While we're waiting, he's here? Okay, terrific. Yeah. I'll just say one more thing and we'll welcome Mitchell up. I want to say thanks to the league and to Twitch, because Sunday we had something that I don't think we've had for a soccer's match before, which is we were, even the grand final, which is that we were on the home page of Twitch, the front page, the entire match. I think it's a credit to our TVX video crew, to Nate, to Melissa, to everybody on the broadcast, that we've got a level of broadcast that the league is really comfortable highlighting in that way. But as of Monday morning, over 350,000 people had watched at least some part of Comet Soccer's on Twitch and on the main MASL soccer channel. And at one point in the early fourth quarter, up to 17,000 people were watching at the same time. So really, really cool exposure for this league and for this sport. And as Toy Runner said, yeah, that's where we were too, Toy Runner. We were over 17,000 concurrent, meaning at the exact same time, viewers watching this match when it was in balance in the fourth quarter. And so many of them are folks who were there to watch gaming, came to watch an Overwatch tournament or Counter-Strike or something else. And then they see it and they click in and they go, what the heck is this? And so Nate and I knew that, and we were really putting a lot of kind of arena basics into our football basics, answering some great questions from the chat. It was just really, really cool. So, I know there was a lot of concern about replatforming to Twitch last year. I think all of us were a little worried about the timing of it and asking people to re-find the product in the middle of the season. But I think we're starting to see now all of the advantages of the league being on Twitch. And I'm really excited to see number counts like that, to know that they're accurate, to be a part of it, and to see that type of interactivity. It's really, really cool.
Love it. Yeah, I went back and actually watched it and was looking at the chat. It was super active, and everybody, like you said, really good questions. A lot of people that had never seen it. So great exposure. I cannot complain. And we've been here for much longer than the league, Craig. We've already been on this platform. We know how great it can be.
We know, you're right. We were here first. Just call us the trailblazers of the MASL, like always. All right, it's time to welcome on our special guest. He is one of the very best on-ball defenders in the league. He is one of the guys who, when he came to this team, the defense changed, and he's got 2 championship rings now to prove it. We welcome in the man who comes to us desde la Ciudad de Mexico. Mitchell Cardenas is joining us now live on Soccer's Overtime. Mitchell, Craig, and Jerry here with you as always, my friend. Thanks for the time.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening? You're not in Mexico, right? He made it sound like you were in Mexico right now.
No, originally.
Oh, no, not right now. Not yet.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Just want to make sure everybody, is completely informed, has the right information. Because I said the 28th and it was the 29th. I'm already messing it up. So I just want to make sure I'm on top of things. That's all. All right, Craig, proceed with the interview. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, Jerry. Thank you so much. Hey, first things, Mitch. Well, I know today it's something that has probably been a couple times now for you, but team bonding outing. The folks going out for racing go-karts today. Give us the go-kart racing report. How did things go?
Yeah, it was fun. Those are good moments to have as a group, to build some team chemistry. Not that this team needs anything else, right? But it's always good. You had the people in the front, Farber, Juan Gonzalez was up there. Craig was up there for a little bit. I think those were the top three guys, yeah.
I actually got some footage of it, Craig. I didn't tell you this, but I got live footage of them. Yeah, let me show you. See if I can put this up here real quick. This is actual footage of these guys.
Oh, you're right.
Competing out there.
Who throws the turtle shell the best, Mitchell?
That's probably Mitchell.
Yeah, who's the Bowser? Is Xavier the Bowser of the team?
Yeah, it's definitely X-Man. Perfect picture right there.
Yeah, that's Tavoy's Mario throwing the peace signs and doing the dance. Sweet. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it looks like it was a lot of fun.
Tavoy was not competing over there.
Well, hey, let's talk a little bit about Sunday's match, Mitchell. We know Kansas City has a game plan. We know that they come in to be a physical team. They lead the league in penalty minutes. They kept that tradition alive and well on Sunday with a number of power plays. Talk about just getting physical with KC and coming into a game that kind of is going to be a rough and tumble one.
Yeah, that doesn't really describe our style of play, but we don't shy away from it. There's nobody on this roster who shies away from a little bit of contact, especially a team like that. It kind of plays to the limits, right? Just to enough to where the refs let them get away with a lot of things, but there's just fouls and plays that you can't overlook. And I know they might not think they were blue cards or whatnot, but it seemed pretty clear that the ref got those right. Um, but yeah, it's just a different game than you'll come across in this league, especially when you play them. And it's almost fun to get to have some of those games every now and then. So it was a good challenge, and everybody stepped up when they needed to.
Yeah, you're saying, I mean, obviously it doesn't describe our type of play, but was there some sort of mental preparation that you guys have to do when playing a team like Kansas City?
No, not at all. It's you just I mean we've done it before. We've played them once each of the past well with this one the past 3 seasons that I've been here, and it's always been the same, right? It's always been the same. They scrap and fight and a little more when they can, and then they have good individual talent that can get them goals here and there with some of their offensive weapons. So mentally, no, we just knew that it was going to be a physical game, and knowing that, you just know that with every tackle you kind of have to get stuck in even a little harder than usual.
Finish the sentence for me, Mitchell. A good defender in the indoor game must be blank.
Must be, I'd say, steady.
How so?
And why?
Yeah.
Steady in my opinion, because the indoor game's so frantic, right? It's just a lot of things just going a million miles an hour. There's a lot of little bounces of the ball that you don't encounter in any other sort of soccer besides this one. Um, so being steady and giving your team that calmness in the back and always kind of keeping balance, I think is very important to have on an indoor team.
We always praise our defense. So obviously, we have, uh, veterans back there like yourself that just are always stepping it up. Guerrero Pino, same. And then we have some younger players back there too that are still developing. Somebody like Juan Manuel Rojo, who scored his first goal this last game. And then also we've been talking about the possibility of hopefully Ishmael Rojo coming in as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the development of Juan?
Yeah, it's interesting because I always hear that, when people talk about Rojo, or Juan Manuel Rojo in this case, they always talk about how young he is still. But if you really look into his career, he's had several of years of experience under his belt, being in El Paso for a bit and then with the Turlock Express for a bit as well, where he was a key member of that team. And then he had been in San Diego here as well. So he's had a chance to learn and grow in the past. I think now you're kind of starting to see him flourish under the spotlight here in this club. And yeah, it'll be a learning process as well, but he's kind of doing it in strides, right? Especially on the offensive end. So definitely will be an exciting player for years to come.
And we talk about him. We've talked about him for years, honestly. But Ishmael Rojo now, thanks to a change with the U.S. government, with the visa departments and the MASL, he's now available to be signed to the big club. He played. I know he's been coming back from a knee injury. He hadn't been in training for a while, but he played a full match and then some in that overtime M2 match on Sunday afternoon. You've gotten that chance, though, for a couple of years to play with Big Rojo, to train alongside him and play against him. What does he bring to the floor? What could he bring to this team if he gets the opportunity to be selected?
Yeah, I think just like anybody else that we have, and I think Felipe mentioned it last week when he was on the show, is that everybody kind of brings something unique to the table, right? And he's one of those pieces that could bring something different, maybe that we don't have at the moment. If you know, shots from distance, maybe taking people one on one. Similar style to his brother as well. He's a big presence in the back with uh, how tall he is. So yeah, if we were able to get another player like that, it's always exciting, and anybody that's looking to add to this roster and bring something to the table is obviously going to be welcome.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the things too. Watching M2 and watching him play, I mean, his stature alone. I mean, the presence, and I think you mentioned one thing that I've noticed too. His shots taken from very far are very good
Yeah.
shots. So for those of you that are listening and haven't had a chance to check out what Big Rojo has done with M2, I believe the replay should be here on Twitch, so you can go back and check it out. Um, another thing that I think just as fans of the league have been noticing here in the beginning of the season is the two Mexican teams are just phenomenal, right? We have Chihuahua, we have Monterrey, and for you, have you had a chance to kind of scout them out? Is that something that you do, or do you just concentrate on the game coming up? How is that? Kind of walk us through that, because I'm sure you've heard of Chihuahua and Monterrey.
Yeah, of course. For me personally, I've always been more to focus on what we have to do, and as long as we keep taking care of our business, then we'll be in a good spot uh, at the end of the road. But yeah, I've caught some games where they've been involved, and they're always going to be the teams from down in Mexico are very similar throughout the years, not just right now. They're intense, very dynamic, and have very good technical ability, and rely a lot on their individual talents to pull them through games when things get tough. So yeah, those are two good competitors, but I think there's also other teams in the league who this year have been having better seasons than in the past, and it makes for a more exciting product for all the fans across the board, not just for each individual team.
I mean, and at the same time, you have to know with the new, recalibration back to conference playoffs that, like right now, there's pretty legitimately 6 teams in the West that all consider themselves playoff teams, playoff contenders, Ron Newman Cup contenders. One of those teams gets to make it to the Ron Newman Cup finals against somebody out of the Eastern Conference. I mean, this could be the most stacked conference that we've seen in this league's history.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. When you hear people from the East Coast speak, though, they say it the opposite way, right? They think that their conference is the toughest and hardest to get through. But I think if you watch the games, you can honestly say that on this side, there's, like you said, so many teams who can. If it was maybe a 1 through 8 table like it was last year, it'd be, I think, generally stacked with Western Conference teams. But it is what it is. You just have to adjust to the new rules. And like you guys said in the past, and again, I agreed with that statement, was, you're gonna have to run through this conference in order to have a good shot at winning in the end.
Yeah, and we have a couple of games. It's been a little while without a game on the road, but we're going to be heading out 21st, 22nd, coming up here against Harrisburg. Kind of just walk us through the look ahead of this coming weekend in Harrisburg.
Yeah, that one's a tough trip because of the distance. We'll have to make the flight out there and have a back-to-back, which the majority of our games this early part of the season have been back-to-backs. We've had 2 games where we've had just a full week to get ready, and the other ones have been, Saturday, Sundays, and this one is just going to be another one. So it'll kind of test our depth and our physical preparation. But, we've kind of come to accept any challenge that heads our way, especially with all the travel issues we had last year with all the trips that we had to make. I, I enjoy these road trips because they kind of build a lot of character and camaraderie within the team, and come playoff time, it really pulls you through some moments that get difficult.
Craig.
And it won't be easy games, right? Harrisburg, even though their record is pretty poor, they've battled and given teams some good games, so
Mm-hmm.
it won't be a light test for us either.
Yeah, I was going to say, Craig, we finally get to bring this sound back.
It's a trap!
Could this be a trap game? Has
Avoid
General
all
Akbar-
traps.
It's a trap!
Only if you make it
You're gonna
run,
be
right,
pulling that one
Mitchell?
out for every game this season.
We did a lot last season. I felt like the entire season I was pressing that button like a lot. But yeah.
Well, it's
The
only a
first one.
trap, though, if you make it a trap, Mitchell, right? If you guys come in focused, then it's not a trap. You're walking in with your eyes up.
Exactly, exactly. If you take the game the way that this this team takes most games, then we'll have a positive weekend. If not, then yeah, we're gonna be putting ourselves in a hole. But I highly doubt that will happen. Everybody seems pretty focused on the objective at hand, and this is just another step in that way.
And
Love
I just
that.
love that Farber winds up being the number one fast guy. I mean, he's trying anything he can to get back on
I
the
know.
floor, Mitchell.
Oh, but when you talk about speed, you would just kind of expect his name to be up there, though.
His Twitter handle is Flash. I mean, come on, man.
Right?
Yeah, he shouldn't have been allowed to race today. I'll say that.
I love it. Well, Mitchell, we always appreciate you, man. You've always been so gracious with us, and we appreciate it. Have a tremendous weekend. Stay healthy. 6 points, 6 points, 6 points. Go get those points, and we'll see you back here for the showdown against Chihuahua next Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, man. See you soon.
There he is, Mitchell Cardenas. Tell you what, man. What you can just tell his demeanor off the floor is the same as his demeanor on the floor. You know, and that's why when he answered the question, a good defender must be steady. I mean, he's talking about himself right there. Steady Eddie, Mitchell Cardenas.
No, I love it. And you're right, absolutely right. And I think the one thing that I love, and it is a continuing thing, it's not just Mitchell, it was Felipe, it's everybody that you talk to within the organization. It's their main goal at the end of the day. They're not thinking about what's, 2 steps ahead. They're thinking about just, okay, let's get the job done in the next game, and then we'll start thinking about the following game. They know that that's how it needs to go so that they can get to the end of the road and be that one team in the West that makes it into the final. They know that they want to get to the championship. They want to three-peat. All of them do. And, I mean, you could see it. It's just in the way that they talk about everything. And, yeah, I love that. And thank you to Mitchell for being on.
You know, and I think the interesting thing for Sockers fans and what's made these last 2 seasons so compelling, you know, I think from the outside it would be very easy for someone to go, oh, well, it can't be that fun to watch this team. I mean, they win all the time. The games probably don't mean anything because, you know, they're going to get to the end of the season and then they're going to win the championship. And they're going to, you know, it's all in the playoffs anyhow. But the Sockers don't win the championship last year if Chihuahua finishes with a better regular season record. And the club has to go down there to close out the playoff series. Yeah. They win the Ron Newman Cup because, yeah, they go down to Chihuahua and they lose an overtime game, but the Savage had to come up here. The Savage had to come take a game in San Diego in order to take the cup. And that's not the case if you don't win the MASL Shield. So winning the MASL Shield is so important, especially in this Western Conference, that it means every game matters. Every point in the standings matter. And you never get to that NBA type situation of, well, here's a road trip where the Sockers just drop them both and it doesn't really matter. Big deal. They'll erase that by February. Like, no, if they went out and dropped both games in Harrisburg, there's a good chance that we're looking at those points lost at the end of the year. So every game matters. Every game's important. And this club just has the most remarkable attitude to be able to handle the pressure of that and turn it into something that they work with and that they thrive under.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. There's
No
nothing
notes.
for me to add. No notes. That was perfect.
Let's get to MASL and Soccer's news then. And we each added a couple things to this. I wanted to throw one in right at the top. At 12 o'clock Sunday, Soccer's 2 played RGV Barracudas. And for those, and I know there's a couple people in the chat that were at the match, for those who watched here on our San Diego Soccer's Twitch channel, man, it was a good game. I remember saying to you afterwards, I bet you this game will be better in terms of drama than our match. And it was. Yeah. It was, RGV Barracudas, if you haven't watched any of MASL 2, they are the team in that league that essentially is an MASL team, but it doesn't have the underwriting. It doesn't have the ownership, leadership, venue, attendance to be able to move up to MASL. Otherwise, RGV would be in the MASL. They've got Diego Arriaga, our former backup goalkeeper, as their starting keeper, Mascara. They had Miguel Vaca, for God's sakes. I thought this guy was out of my life for good. Miguel Vaca. Man, the cowman has been killing us year in and year out with killer goals. He beat us and knocked us out of the playoffs for Monterrey in 2019. He won the WMF World Cup, in Australia in 2019, and I thought that was it. And no, he's still there. Gustavo Rosales, who was 45, a few years ago, he's still there. The dude that was always such a pain in the butt in Sonora. They really had a good team, like a very solid team. I guarantee you, if RGV was in the MASL Eastern Conference, they would be a playoff team. 100% guarantee.
Ooh, that's a big statement. And
100% guarantee.
Wow. Okay. It looks like, a couple of people in the chat would agree that it was a great game. I enjoyed it, man. What a great match it was. And, these guys are starting to put it together too. Soccer's 2 didn't start off on the greatest foot, but definitely picked it up. And if you're talking that highly about RGV, then that makes me think that Soccer's 2 has definitely improved. And shout out to our friend Diego over there. What a great goalkeeper too, and what a great human being. I love that guy. I miss that guy. He was with us for a bit. And somebody in the chat just mentioned, I don't know if you were aware or if this is true, but I trust Toy Runner. He said that RGV just signed as the affiliate for the Flash.
Well, that's going to add even more developing talent, young talent to RGV. It makes sense. RGV plays in Brownsville, right there on the border of the state of Chihuahua, so not too far from Nuevo Leon. So that's cool for RGV. RGV should be the favorite to win MASL 2 this year. And Soccer's 2 giving them such a great game was, I thought 90% because Big Rojo was back. And Big Rojo potted a couple goals. And Big Rojo scored a goal late in the fourth that sent it to overtime. Xavier Snare-Williams played the whole match, including overtime and shootout, and he made some great saves in the fourth quarter and overtime. It's so important that Xavier's getting these types of games, getting this type of exposure, these types of reps, because you just never know when that game's going to be where Boris gets a blue card and X is just thrown into a penalty kill.
Yeah.
It's here you go. That's going to happen at some point.
I just don't want to keep seeing him make saves with his face. That's it.
No kidding.
It's 2 games in a row, Craig. X, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I know. He's got his head in the game just a little bit too much.
We made that joke with him, and he's like, very funny. But no, what a great game that was. And yeah, you're right. What an exciting game it was. It was way more exciting than Kansas City. And if Kansas City was pretty exciting too, though. So that tells you the kind of match that M2 game was. Please do yourself a favor. If you haven't gotten a chance, go check it out. Especially when we have one at home. They're free. You get free parking. You get to hang out a little bit. And then go do something, and then come back and watch, the Soccers play in the afternoon. I think that's make a day out of it. That sounds like such a fun time, and I know a lot of you here in the chat do that. So thank you for being there.
Yeah, there's also always a developmental aspect to watching Soccers too. You got to watch Big Rojo, and you know that when Big Rojo gets his match fitness, there's a great chance Big Rojo is going to come up to the big league club. Sean Callahan, who was such a big part of our team last year, he's been out with a meniscus injury. He made his return to the floor for Soccers 2. He's getting his match fitness. And Anthony Pacheco, who we saw in the first match of the year play for San Diego, he's down there scoring goals. He's getting those reps. Jesse Gonzalez, our first-round draft pick. Andy Reyes had a big game and is still available on call for this club. So there's a lot of excitement. And like you said, for free, if you can't make it, our home matches are right here on our Twitch channel. So give them a look. It might be better than you think, would be the way I would put it. Moving on, taking a look at what happened over the weekend. We've talked a lot about Chihuahua. We don't really need to talk about it. Chihuahua, to me, is clearly the number 2 team in this league. Clearly. I think they're better than any team in the East. I think they're better than any other team in the West. I think the fact that Luis Jaime Borrego had the same roster and was able to carry it over and didn't lose Torres back to Monterrey, didn't lose Puentes, didn't lose Rios, didn't lose Berna to Monterrey. I think that was just gigantic for this team. They've got confidence. They've got togetherness. They play with heart. They play with guts. They're going to be tough, man. They are going to be tough as H. And I'm happy that they dropped another point by beating Monterrey in overtime as opposed to in regulation. Every one of these points is going to add up at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're tied in games played so far. They have 15 to our 17 points as of right now. That one loss in overtime, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then, but you have to keep in mind also that this was 5 games ago. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. Yeah, Chihuahua's they look tough, man. And it's so wonky right now looking at the standings because obviously we have 6. Chihuahua has 6 to mention. Tacoma has 5, and they're in 4th. Mesquite has 8 games. And then we're going to talk about Florida. Florida has 10 games, 4 more than San Diego now. It's just really interesting. So just don't trust the standings. Just know that things are definitely going to change once the teams start getting closer in the amount of games that they've played. It's really interesting to see it right now. But Chihuahua, man, they're scary. If you haven't seen the game, guys, or any of the Chihuahua games, they say by the way, I should mention the commentators and saludos Carlitos. They do a great job. The commentators are doing awesome. They talk about us quite a bit, and I think they feel the same way we feel about them, the way that we talk about them. That's how they've been talking about us. So, 1 and 2 right there. I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah, 2 Sundays from now, the MASL first half match of the year, and I saw Kay Vibbert say it. It's first round for the MASL Shield. It really is. I mean, if Chihuahua comes into San Diego and wins that match and breaks all the streaks and wins that match, they've got a leg up because then we've got to go there. And we know we haven't beaten them in regulation once yet in 3 tries down at Corner Sport Arena. So incredible fun. And last thing I'll say very briefly as we switch topics, Chihuahua, if you didn't watch the match, they got done so dirty by the refs at the end of the 4th quarter. There was, I think, the worst blue card I've seen in like 3 years pulled in that match when Monterrey just played the ball into their zone with 10 seconds left, and their forward literally just fell down. Just knew that there was a defender behind him, and he just jumped in the air, flew into the air, and fell down. And a ref behind the play was like, boop, card. And it was a complete dive. It was an absolute joke by Monterrey, and I really appreciated the old famous ball don't lie. Because they did not score on that power play, and then Chihuahua won it in overtime, and I thought that was a very fair result because you just get penalties like that are just disgusting to me. So Chihuahua, great. Tacoma. What's going on?
What is happening? Question
Full
for the
disclosure.
chat. What is
I
happening?
picked Tacoma to finish 7th this year. I thought Dallas would keep some of their gains from last year. Dumb me. And I thought, here's Tacoma, a team that I think went something like 6-15-3 or something last year. They weren't good. They're a year older. And I thought, okay, that's how it's going to be. Tacoma is 4-1. And they got spanked at home by Monterrey in their home opener. Since then, no one can beat them. They went to Kansas City and won. Maybe you could talk about strength of schedule because they've gotten to play 3 East teams already. But Harrisburg came to town. They beat Harrisburg twice, beat them really handily. Danny Waltman's likely to win his 2nd straight MASL Player of the Week on defense. And Pereira's playing great. Pablo Lopez is up there, new guy. He's averaging 2 points a match. And I'm like going, hang on. Is Tacoma a playoff team?
Yeah. I mean, they to be fair, they've had, who have they played? So we said Harrisburg, and they played against Kansas City. Okay. They played against, let's see, who else? Is that it? No. Flash. That's who destroyed them. 10-3.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're looking
And they beat
good.
Empire. They beat Empire first game
And they
of the
beat
year.
Empire.
They beat
That's
Empire.
right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and we looked at that as kind of like, oh, Empire's bad.
Yeah.
We didn't look at it as, Tacoma's winning
good.
on the road. Yeah, Tacoma's 2-0 on the road
Yeah.
already. And they're really playing high level right now. They're playing great defense. They're scoring goals. Nick's doing his thing. That was another thing. Again, mea culpa, full disclosure. I thought, here's a guy who just won a championship as a general manager in the NWSL. Homie's busy. Like
Yep.
Nick Pereira's busy. There's no way he's going to be able to focus on these Tacoma matches. He's going to come in. He's going to do his thing. He's going to step on the ball. He's going to juke and jive. He'll score a free kick. But I figured he was going to be checked out, thinking about how to re-sign. I'm forgetting I'm trying to remember the OL Reign players. Re-sign all those great OL Reign players. All the ones that we saw that were so tough and competitive last year. That number 15, she was excellent. So I don't know. I'm blown away. And here's the thing: we only played Tacoma twice. We play them once up there, February 11th. We play them once down here, April 1st, and that's it. So unlike some other teams, like one I'm about to talk about, that the Sockers kind of grind into dust, Tacoma's going to avoid us almost the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. We have a couple of comments here. Tacoma could replace Empire at this point. I'd love it to get Tacoma off the bottom of the table. I have a soft spot for that team for some reason. I mean, oh, there we go. Found the answer, Craig. Marlisha has it. They found the fountain of youth. It has to be that. No, but I agree.
It's up there. Ponce de Leon was so far off.
It's in the Pacific Northwest. What?
It's in the trees by Bigfoot. They thought it was in Florida. What are they doing? Unbelievable. Well, I'll say this just to wrap it up. Big ups to Tacoma this weekend. Tacoma at Chihuahua, Tacoma at Monterey, Saturday and Sunday.
It's going to be a test. Here we go.
If Tacoma gets a point out of those matches, look out.
Yeah.
If Tacoma, I believe Tacoma gave up like 21 goals at Chihuahua last year. I think they won 20 or lost 21-9 last year. If stuff like that happens and they get curb stomped twice, then I'll say okay. But nonetheless, you look at the bottom of the conference, this ultra competitive conference, and I think you really have to say, and I know their match is just about to begin over on MASL Soccer here on Twitch. The Strikers, Empire, are hosting Baltimore. These matches become just must-wins for Empire. Right now, Empire is looking up at the conference. They are in 6th place. They are out of the play-in right now, and they are about to play their 9th match. And every single club above them has matches in hand, from 1 through 5. So, if Tacoma's wedging their way into the conversation, you almost have to say it would come at Empire's expense. And I just can't even imagine Empire back-to-back years with this kind of roster missing the playoffs altogether and staying together. There has to be a major change at Empire if they can't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's scary times for them. Obviously, I think we know Dallas is just, unless they make some gigantic major changes, I don't see them getting much higher in that table. And shout out to Gabriel, who's in the chat. It sounds like he might be able to keep us updated with the scoreline, because the game already started for Empire. We'll only be here for a few more minutes, but just let us know how they're doing. I'm interested. No score yet.
Yeah, don't leave. Hang out. We've got a couple more things to get to, and then you can flip right on over. Meanwhile, Gabriel will keep us in mind. Yeah. Just really briefly looking at the East, you talked about it. Uh, 10 matches already for Florida. Florida loses at home again. They've lost 3 times at home already this year. Milwaukee goes down there and beats them. And right now, Milwaukee's 3 points behind Florida in the standings with 3 matches in hand. And in fact, Florida coming to Milwaukee this weekend. So the Wave are about one more statement win away from being the top team in the East. And I mean, I think they're kind of the same team as they've been. I think Milwaukee's healthier this year. I think they're a little bit more defensive minded, but the way they blew that 4-0 5-1 lead to Monterey last week and lost, or 2 weeks ago, tells you there's still some of that same old Wave that we've seen from past years. But shout out to Ian Bennett, man. Guy knows where to be, right place, right time. He's scored a goal in 37 straight MASL contests. And I mean, we've seen a couple of them where it was a fourth quarter, 6th attacker, down 11-2, put it in with 2 minutes left, kind of like the guy that has an 0 for 5 and then gets a ground ball single in his last at bat to keep a hitting streak alive. But 37 games in a row with a goal for Ian Bennett. Just, I mean, incredible stuff. Hats off, Indoor Soccer Hall of Famer.
I mean, he can't only be him, though. For a while there, it looked like Derek Huffman was going to also come in and really do some damage on teams. But, I mean, he still can, honestly. There's still some up and downs there, so I'm not too sure about Milwaukee. I think you put it here, is Florida not great, or is Milwaukee really good? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure that I feel comfortable enough to say go one way or the other, honestly, which is weird. I feel like by now we should kind of get an idea. But with Florida having 10 games and Milwaukee only having 7, I think that we're still going to learn a little bit more from Milwaukee. Maybe next time that we're on here, we can chat a little bit more about that. And on that note, Blast scores, Strikers 0, Blast 1.
Fair enough.
That's the last time I'm going to mention that game, but please keep us still updated. Okay, we have stuff to go through.
Yeah, let's get to some quick league news, and it's also team news. Very, very exciting. The MASL announced today that Sirius XM FC, channel 157 on Sirius XM, has entered in a partnership with the MASL to broadcast 10 straight Friday night MASL Match of the Week broadcasts. And that will include 2 San Diego Sockers broadcasts. And coming up pretty soon, the Sockers versus Mesquite Star Wars Night, February 3rd, and Sockers Empire Strikers on March 24th. Now, this will be in addition to our regular broadcast. So this will be an entirely different second broadcast that if you are driving around, if you have satellite radio, you can tune into. And I think it's great exposure for the league, Jerry. Tremendous partnership. I know the MASL Grand Final last year was on Sirius XMFC, and now to have 10 straight Fridays of broadcasts, really, really exciting. I don't personally have satellite radio. I've never had it, but I know a lot of people who do. So really, really cool news for the league, and kudos to JP Delacamera, Keith Tozer, and the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff, and I want to continue to see it more and more. The more exposure the league gets, the better for everybody. And we saw it with Twitch there, as you were mentioning earlier in the podcast. I mean, being able to be in front of so many people that have never seen and don't know what is going on with this league of indoor soccer, and they get to enjoy it. And now having something like Sirius XM, where a lot of people will have access that otherwise wouldn't, I think is fantastic. And so I agree with you. Kudos to the entire league, and I hope to continue to see this because this is awesome. It's awesome for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm not going to directly interact with Eddie Bear's comment there, but I'll just say I think they're all going to be different broadcasts, like different people. I don't think anyone's going to simulcast their TV match over to Sirius. I know we've already been planning about how what we're going to do with the broadcast, whether we're going to take our crew and split it up, and we'll have more announcements on that probably in a week or so. I got to lock a couple things down with the league, and then we should have a couple of announcements that I'm pretty excited about in terms of how we're going to staff those nights. Also, don't forget our next home match, January 29th, is another Spanish-English simulcast night with Tony and Chiva on Canela TV. So check that out. Sunday, January 29th, team poster night. Everybody gets a brand new 2022-23 team poster, post-match autographs down on the floor, an annual tradition, and Soccers and Savage. As good as it gets in indoor soccer. Let's have our biggest crowd of the year once again. Now, Jerry, in addition to all this excitement, the night before, Saturday, January 28th, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. So there's a really cool event that I wanted to share with everybody because I think it's related a lot to kind of the beginnings of futsal, indoor soccer, and just having an event like this in San Diego is awesome. So Foreign Culture, go ahead and follow them on Instagram. Foreign Culture, at Foreign Culture. They put together these events. This is going to be a freestyle competition, Jam 3 that they're having on January 28th. Go and follow them. It's going to take place at Hangar FC in El Cajon, and you can RSVP there. It is presented by our friends at San Diego Loyal. So go and check that out. Follow at Foreign Culture on Instagram, and you'll see the RSVP there. But it should be really cool. They're going to have some really professional, like literally professional freestylers there. You want to go and check out some cool stuff. And then our friends also from Chicano Futsal and from Bridge Barcata will all be there. So go and check that out. That is why I said the 28th probably. Yes. I was excited about the 28th, but the 29th, Craig, what do we have going on the 29th?
Our soccer match. That's what we have going on. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Want to remind everybody once again, Star Wars night, Friday, February 3rd. Let's go to that. Next week on the show, Star Wars night kit reveals for the field players and for the goalkeeper. So make a note of it. Next week, right here, this time on this show, Star Wars night kit reveals. They're supposed to be, I'm going to knock wood when I say this, supposed to be in our office this week. So excited. Hopefully. So excited. Can't wait. So 1 week from tonight, right here, will be the first place you will see the Star Wars Nights kit. We are happy with both. I think the goalkeeper kit is going to be a huge, huge hit. So.
It's a trap.
No.
It's not a trap. Be here next week. It's not a trap. We will show you the kits. Promise.
I promise. We will do it. No trap. Incredible. Cross-border kit reminder. Our cross-border kits pre-sale is right now. I'm going to say it every show until it ends. We have a pre-sale going on at sdsoccers.com/shop. Go to sdsoccers.com, click on the shop icon, and right there you can order your own cross-border kit. Any size from youth small up to adult 4XL is available. So especially if you are somebody who trends toward a larger size, those are always the hardest to get at the merchandise stand. Those are always the first to sell out. Please don't be the victim of chance and circumstance, hoping to get to the merchandise stand in March when we get our reorder and get your own kit. Take matters into your own hands, and you can order anywhere you are watching. If you are on the Iberian coast or Antarctica, you can order this kit. I mean, if you're in Antarctica, you should probably talk to EasyB about shipping.
It's going to be more expensive than, yeah.
I was going to say, some cost involved.
I'm not sure that Ezra would love you saying that, but Craig will hand deliver it to, no, I'm just kidding. If you're in Antarctica, watch we get an order.
From Needles to Ulaanbaatar and all points in between, you can get the cross-border kit. And, I had another person, I think actually Eric Bergrud, our guest last week, he was one of many people. Multiple people said this to me on Sunday night, Jerry. Said, I've seen it on TV. I saw it on the match. I saw your graphics. I saw your photos. But then I saw the kid in person at the merchandise stand. Yeah. And it's even better looking in person, than it is. These graphics just don't do it justice. So Get one for yourself. Pre-order lasts through January 31st. At the end of January 31st, Ezra is going to turn in all of the pre-orders plus her own set of a second shipment of these kits, and then, that's it for a while, right? We don't know the next time we're going to order. So take care of this now. sdsoccers.com/shop. Click on the shop button. Get yours and, take care of business. And yeah, season ticket members always get 15% off. Enter that code. Take care of it. Get it done. So many people tell me one of the best kits they've seen on any sporting team all year, the cross-border kits. So
I love that.
Get one for yourself. Okay, watch party this Saturday. Dana on Mission Bay. Soccer's Harrisburg Heat, 4:05 kickoff. Matches on Twitch. We are going to be indoors. I will repeat, we are going to be indoors.
I repeat, indoors.
My gosh.
I know the picture's outdoors, but we wanted the graphic to look cool. It's going to be indoors, I promise.
What if it rains again? I mean, I'm so sick of it raining. So sick of it raining.
I mean, we're San Diegans. We don't pay for this. We pay for good weather.
Correct.
What is this? Craig, we get like 1 week of rain and we're complaining. We probably shouldn't.
Completely complaining, yeah.
It's cold.
I don't want to be frigid watching a game. Exactly. So we're going to be in that big ballroom where we've been before. Fans are invited to come in. Doors open 3:30. 4:05 kickoff. There'll be, just like there has been before, food and beverage available for purchase. They'll have the grill going. There'll be adult beverages and kids beverages. Everything available there at the Dana. So come on down. All of the soccer staff will be there, as we always are. So we look forward to seeing all your familiar faces and getting a great watch party going Saturday, 4 o'clock for the Sockers and Heat. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock is the second match between the Sockers and the Harrisburg Heat. And, when Mitchell was on, Jerry, he was talking a little bit, previewing the matchup, saying, you can't just look at the standings and say, well, that's 2 wins for the Sockers. I mean, we can look at the standings and go, Sockers have to win these 2 matches. There's not a lot of veteran experience on this current iteration of the Harrisburg Heat. You've got guys like Ty Hall, Andrew Hoxie, David Meller, who's been there for a long time. Dominic Francis has been limited so far this year to only 3 games. Usually he's the guy to look out for, the left footer, the Brit, the left footer who's really strong. This club is not scoring goals so far this year. 18, 22, 26 goals the entire season for Harrisburg. But they're defending pretty well. So, to me, these matches are all about control, your own emotional control, taking control of the match. The Sockers tend to grind teams down, and sometimes that can lead a road or a home team, when the Sockers are on the road, to feel a little bit more confidence. Like, hey, look, it's only 2-2. We're right there. We're in it. But I think you saw in that last Dallas match in Texas where Sockers go down 3-0. Next thing you know, it's 4-3 before halftime. Last year, it was a pretty close one in Harrisburg. I think it wound up being a 2-goal match between the Sockers and the Heat.
How much was Willie B that, though, like part of that?
Yeah. Willie B was really good last year. He was, and now he's in Milwaukee. The one prediction I'm going to make, Tavoy Morgan got shut out last year in Harrisburg.
He did. That's right.
Yeah. And we came into that match going, it's going to go one way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. That he's going to have a 5-goal game, or he's going to struggle. He struggled.
Yeah.
I am going to say, bold prediction, Tavoy Morgan will be Offensive Player of the Week next week in the MASL. I think he's going to have one of those 2-match, 7-goal type outputs. I think it's time. I think it's time for Tavoy to eat. He's the road warrior. He's scoring on nothing but hat tricks, nothing but bangers on the road. And I think he's going to, second time back to Harrisburg, I think he's going to let them all know what a mistake it was to let him come out to San Diego and put his roots down here.
I'm going to make a prediction, too, for this game, Craig, and I'm going to say that Andrew Hoxie will have the best mustache throughout the weekend.
Yeah, because Childs isn't really competing.
No, he's
right
not.
now.
No, he's the only one that I think could compete, but he's not. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm right on my
Gregor.
prediction.
Sad. Get that mustache growing, man. You're a quick grow kind of guy. Can we have a mustache off between you and Hoxie?
It's been working out pretty good without it, though. I don't know if he wants to do that.
That's true.
I don't think his wife liked it either.
Usually a deciding vote.
Yeah, that's who really matters. But Andrew Hoxie's mustache, my goodness. No, I'm excited to see these two games. Obviously, I think Mitchell said it best, and that is that we will see our depth tested again. With those back-to-back games like that, and being far away. But I don't know. I think I'm pretty confident that we should, right? From everything that we've seen, if we put it all together, we look at the numbers, we really should be able to beat Harrisburg at home twice, no problem. But we will see. And to Voy Morgan, I like that. I really hope that is the case, Craig.
Let's see if I'm right next week. I hope I didn't put the jinx on him, but let's see.
No,
if
we
I'm
don't
right
jinx in this. This podcast has brought people a lot of success, I would say.
Yeah, Mitchell's probably got a couple goals in him this weekend, too, now that he's been on the show.
Yep. He doesn't even know it yet, but he's going to score.
Love it. Well, that's going to bring an end to tonight's edition of Soccer's Overtime. We appreciate everybody hanging out for us this week. Love the audience. Love the interactivity that we're getting here on Twitch. Thanks to everyone who's our early adopters. Thanks to everyone who's in our chat week in and week out. We appreciate you. If you happen to be listening on the podcast, hey, reach on in there, scroll down on Apple Podcasts, give us that 5-star review, give us a written review. It only helps build up the audience, build up the circulation. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 5 o'clock with a whole nother turnaround. The San Diego Sockers and the Major Arena Soccer League here on Soccer's Overtime. Until then, Jerry, any parting words?
No, just to stay tuned for a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and leave you guys with a couple of videos. We released some pretty cool stuff on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, you should definitely check it out. But we had My Hometown with Cesar Cerda, as well as a Whisper Challenge, which is both videos amazing. And then I'm gonna throw in there the third kit video just for fun. Before we say completely good night. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Continue to be here Tuesdays. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody. 5 p.m. Tuesdays. We'll be here. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you, Craig.
For Mitchell Cardenas, for Jerry Jimenez, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks to you for making Soccer's Overtime part of your Tuesday night. Until we speak again, have a great weekend. Hope to see you at the watch party on Saturday. And go Sockers!
Yo nací en la ciudad de Delicia, Chihuahua, pero crecí y me crié en la ciudad de Saltillo, Coahuila, México. Algunas de las tradiciones que tiene Saltillo es el aniversario de la ciudad. Otra de las tradiciones grandes es el 15-16 de septiembre, que es el grito de independencia. Todos se juntan en la plaza de armas a dar pues se le dice el grito de independencia. Hay un restaurante muy propio de la ciudad que se llama el Mesón Principal y uno de los platillos favoritos es el cabrito.
¿Listo, perro? ¿Listo? Vamos, ya estoy. I can't hear nothing.
Do I have to whisper?
Blue card penalty.
¿Qué? Blue dot Maryland.
2-0. I like chips with dip.
Ron Newman Cup.
Ron Newman Cup. Damn.
San Diego, Tijuana, two cities separated by a border, a wall that divides two cultures, two communities, united by one passion for the beautiful game. And in our sport, talent has no border, and walls lead to goals.